The lighthouse stood like a sentinel against the storm, and with every crashing wave, I remembered him. Justin always came back when I least expected it, carrying that smirk, that heat, that terrible comfort I could never escape. He was both a balm and a wound. Every time he returned, I told myself I'd resist, but the moment his hand brushed mine, resistance shattered. The isolation of this place should have freed me from him, yet it only made his presence more dangerous. Because here, with only the ocean and the night, there was nowhere to hide from Justin. The first time I saw Justin at the lighthouse again, the wind nearly knocked me off my feet. I'd been working on repairing the lantern, my hands greasy with oil, when his figure appeared against a backdrop of dusk. For months, I had convinced myself he wouldn't come back this time. I thought I was free. But the sight of his broad shoulders and the way his jacket clung to his frame brought every buried feeling back to the surface. What do you do when the man who breaks you is also the one who makes you feel alive? Still pretending this place doesn't haunt you? Justin's voice cut through the roar of the waves. He climbed the stone steps 2 at a time, as though the storm didn't faze him. He hadn't changed much. Messy blonde hair, sharp blue eyes that always saw too much, lips that seemed to dare me closer. Why are you here? I managed, though my voice betrayed more ache than anger. He smirked, tossing his bag down near the door. Because you never tell me to stay away. Not really. Sometimes, the hardest truths are the ones we whisper with silence. I turned back to the lantern, trying to act busy. The iron frame creaked beneath my hands as I adjusted the gears. But Justin's presence was magnetic. I could feel him drawing closer, his warmth behind me in stark contrast to the icy draft sneaking through the cracks. You could have written, I said finally, gripping the wrench too tightly. You disappear, then show up like the tide. Do you even realize what that does to me? Justin's breath ghosted against my neck as he leaned close. Maybe I like knowing I can still reach you. Some chains are invisible, but no less binding. I spun around, and suddenly he was inches from me. His shirt clung damply to his chest, rain having seeped through, and his hair dripped down over his forehead. My anger faltered, tangled with want. It always did. That was a pain to Justin. He gave me no space to hate him fully, no escape from the need that burned between us. You shouldn't be here, I whispered, though even I didn't believe the words. His hand brushed mine, just enough to ignite the spark. And yet, here I am. What are you going to do about it? When desire tastes like danger, which one wins? The storm outside rattled the glass, but the real storm was inside me. I shoved him back, but he only grinned, as if he knew resistance was nothing but performance. The truth was written in the tremble of my hands and the way my chest rose too fast. You always do this. I snapped. You disappear, then you return like nothing happened. And I'm just supposed to what? Open my arms. Justin tilted his head, his gaze locking with mine. You don't open them, love. You never close them in the first place. What happens when someone knows you better than you know yourself? I hated him for being right. I hated myself for letting him be right. And yet, when he reached out and cupped my jaw, my body leaned into his touch before my mind could object. His thumb brushed the stubble of my cheek, grounding me in that way he always did, making me forget the months of silence, the countless nights I swore I was done. Justin, I breathed, but the word was more plea than warning. Sure, he murmured, eyes flicking down to my lips. Don't fight it. Not tonight. The closer temptation gets, the more impossible it is to resist. That night, the lighthouse felt like its own world. Wind screaming outside, waves pounding the cliffs, and inside, just us. Just him. The flame in the lantern wasn't the only thing burning. And though I told myself I'd regret this in the morning, I already knew the truth. Every time Justin returned, I couldn't resist. Not the pain. Not the pleasure. Not him. What if the one who hurts you is also the only one who feels like home? The storm outside raged harder by the hour, but Justin and I stayed locked in that fragile space between distance and surrender. He leaned against the old stone wall, water dripping from his hair, his presence too large for the narrow room of the lighthouse. I tried to keep busy, checking the lantern, adjusting the flame, but my eyes kept darting back to him. like I was afraid he might vanish if I blinked too long. What do you do when the person you fear losing most is the same one who keeps breaking you? Justin finally broke the silence. "You've changed," he said, his voice low, almost thoughtful. "This place has hardened you, but not enough." I frowned, setting the wrench down. "Not enough for what?" "For me," he said simply. "You still want me." "And I—" He paused, brushing his wet hair back. "I still want you. Always have." I hated the relief that flooded me at those words. He was poison, and yet he was also the cure I couldn't stop craving. Sometimes the truth we deny is the only one that keeps us breathing. I took a step closer, unable to hold the distance. His shirt clung to his chest, revealing the outline of muscles I'd once memorized with my hands. The sight made my throat dry. "You'll leave again," I accused. "That's what you do. You return, break me apart, then vanish until I barely heal. Only to do it again." Justin's expression softened, and for the first time, I saw guilt flicker in his eyes. "You think I don't hate myself for that? But I keep coming back because no matter where I go, you're the only place I feel real." What if the reason someone hurts you is because they can't live without you? The storm cracked thunder above us, shaking glass, but I barely noticed. His words pierced deeper than the sound. My chest tightened, my resolve loosening piece by piece. He stepped closer, so close I could feel the heat radiating off his soaked skin. His hand hovered near my cheek, hesitant for once. "Tell me to leave, and I will." I should have. Every rational bone in my body screamed at me to push him away, but my lips parted on a different truth. "I can't." Sometimes surrender feels less like weakness and more like survival. Justin kissed me then, sudden and fierce, and every locked door inside me broke open. His lips were fire, his hands demanding, and I melted into him like I always did. The lantern above flickered, casting golden shadows around us, as if the world itself was holding its breath. I gripped his shirt, pulling him closer, tasting salt from rain and the ache of months apart. Pain and pleasure tangled, inseparable, undeniable. My chest burned with a familiar contradiction. I hated him for leaving, but I couldn't live without his return. When passion feels like both punishment and salvation, how do you let go? Hours blurred. We ended up sitting on the stone floor, bodies pressed together. The storm now a distant hum outside. His head rested against my shoulder, and for once, Justin looked vulnerable. Not the smirking, untouchable man I knew, but someone who carried the weight of his own choices. "I don't deserve this," he whispered. I tilted my head toward him. "Maybe not, but I don't deserve the silence when you're gone either. Love isn't always about what we deserve. Sometimes it's about what we can't deny." He reached for my hand, entwining his fingers with mine. "What if this time I don't leave?" The word stabbed through me, sharp and impossible. "Don't say that unless you mean it." His grip tightened. His eyes, stormy blue, locked with mine. "I've meant it every time. I was just too weak to prove it. But here, now, I want to stay." For the first time, I let myself believe. The pain didn't vanish, but it felt different, less like a wound, more like a scar that could finally heal. What if the very cycle you thought would never end finally breaks? The storm faded with dawn, sunlight spilling to the glass dome of the lighthouse. The ocean roared softer now, calmer, as if it, too, had made peace. Justin was still beside me, his hand steady in mine, no trace of leaving in his eyes. Every time Justin returned, I had called it pain, but maybe it was never pain at all. Maybe it was the cost of something greater, something worth the ache. Because this time, I wasn't just waiting for him to vanish. This time he had stayed. And maybe, just maybe, some returns are meant to last forever.